Hey people, I'm going to make this one fast. If I'm going too fast for you, skip to the end and click on that folder that says first. But I found this definition for canon that this little difference going to help. The canon is used to distinguish between the original works of a writer who created certain characters and or settings, and the later works of other writers who took up the same characters or settings. And in religious writings, canon is the same thing, and they created this definition to force the meaning over the writings. And this helps define canon right here, Ezekiel 36:3, L of canon of. And that's where most of these writings come from. They started in the bathroom, written on the wall. That's why it's all porn. Of the canon of is where the prophecy comes from. So I ran into this word, immerse in a couple movies ago. I don't remember the definition they gave for it. And that's what I was looking at when I found this. And you can see here it follows the the commerces. And this is going to give us a better definition between the ego and the goyim. And what evolve actually means. And you are taken up. And it's talking about writers. So I'm going to shoot pretty fast through this. I'm going to try to read it a couple different ways. And it kind of explains why it's written like that. And it appears to be picking on the word, word AMR is basic for the word to say. And the AMR, the word, and the co-word. And then at the end it'll use a couple different words that are used for word, the spit. And the dabber, the dabba, yabba dabba. Yabba dabba doo, that's where that come from. That's a base of word. And it's easy to see it's talking about evolve here, mainly because it says, WT, what, EVOLV, what evolve. And you can see that, so that you became is the outcome, so that you became, evolve. And it's talking about the word, so, what you became was caused by the change of word is what creates. So this is of the canon above, the canon of ABAV, above them writ, RIT, of writ to co-armor, the co-word. And what it means is, they took the ancient writings and they come back and they added these markings, to co-word it. And of the canon above them writ, co-word it, co-amor. And it's a person, a co-amor, is a one who didn't writ, but he cow, a feminine mammal, of the feminine mammal word. So amor is word. And that's where your word, the coward, come from. Thus says, because it's not his words. He's twisting somebody else's words. And this next word, the Adoni, that's the Lord. Well, if I'm writing a book, I'm going to put the writers as the lords and gods, And so that's a type of writer, and it's an A-D and then an O-N, the dot above the D, the add-on. And the I, is an Adoni, that type of person, the one that would add on to somebody else's writings, a lord, the Adoni. Of can above them writ, in the bathroom, in the can above them, the word writ, the co-hammer, the one who's adding the markings above, the add-oning. You high on, by on, some moot. You're high on, by, yawn, tired, and bygone. Yawn is a period of light, is a day, the bygones. And you high on, by on, the day bygone, day by day. To some moot, to some quiet. There was things in the ancient Torah that were mooted that weren't supposed to be spoken. And so as the language evolved, they come back and add it. They're not talking necessarily about these markings. All these ancient writings, they start adding markings to change the pronunciations. And it helps us, to read it today, where this is what, and the dot says, read the dots underneath you, EV and then a OLV. What evolve? Connected mark is a seal, is a trait in your DNA. What, connected, the seal of all connected. What all connected is evolution. What all connect. And so, the first writer, he wrote this as what all connect, and people understood that everything connects by evolution. We all go back to the same root of the tree. And as the language changed, they came back and add these dots. And so now I read it, the WT, and then the two dots underneath EVOLV, what evolve. And I get a better idea of what all connected means. We're all connected in our past. And so where this was originally written, what all and all has been changed to what evolve to all. And what I'm doing here, I'm only reading the markings. It's up top, or when it has a mark, I read the lower markings. And when I read the bottom markings, then I'm reading all of these vowels. And so it's W-O-T, what, and then E-V-O, evolution has to do with the time, and whatever, and then Y-O-L, and it's whatever y'all of, down lower, the dot is the A-V, whatever y'all of, and then the hook tells me to read this again, this law, the L-A-W, whatever y'all of law is evolution. And so only the survivors from the survive will be connected in the future. So that became in the future and survive. And so this evolve, is in both directions. We're connected in the past, and the survivors will connect in the future. So the add-oning, you high on, by on some moot. Moot is the word for death, moot. And so you're high on, by on some moot. What's been quieted, what's been outlawed is what you're high on. And swoop, it come from survive. Swoop is not swallowed up, is swept up. Swoop, S-H-O-O-P. And swoop, it come from survive. Of they, L-E-Y, of they outcome, so that you became. Of they outcomers. And so the survivors of they outcomers. They're now commerce. They're now a commodity. And this possession comes from the word merce. And they still use this word today, M-U-R-S-E, as a man purse. And it originally was the man's purse. He was fixing to fight. He said, "Hey, bitch, hold my purse." And that's what purse means, is, your possessions, your purse, what you have on you. They out commercial. The Saya writ. This could be coming from the old Irish, sir, to further the writ, to make it longer. Or from the Italian, both or either. The old Dutch, the Saya, they a writ. Or the old Scottish Gaelic for six, the six a writ. And in the Swedish, they'll say it means, to foretell. I would bet it comes from this word, skyer or shire, sire. They come in all of these Aryan languages, coming from a base word, meaning pure or clear. The word sane, to sane something out. And the sane and the sire would be the one saning. And that fits right on in here with therefore a prophecy and say. Of can above 'em writ co-hammer, add-oning you high on by on some moot, and swoop it comes from survive of they outcommerces of sire writ, of both a writ or of prophecy a writ. And so the first time through, when he first wrote this, it was L, it was of S-O, so of so writ, of so what was writ, of so writ. Then as co-amor Adoni comes by and adds all the extras, then it comes, of sire it, to clean, to seine it, of the sire, to clean it up. And so I'm still ignoring most of these dots. All I'm doing is reading this one dot up top that tells me to add an I after its LSI, of sire it. And that's what they have, this little mark up here means that they skipped a letter. And so this ego here is written EGG, the egg, and then OV of Jim, Jim. And so Jim means to supplant. And of sire it, the egg of Jim, the egg of supplant. And as ego, it would be read EGGO, the ego, and then who, WY of whom. And when it was first written, without all the dots, it was just the guys, the GUIS. And as so writ the guys, what all and all, would be the way it was first written, WTOL, what all and all. And then as the dot comes for the double letters, and it's what to it, what to Lou, what to it all. And then as the other set of dots come, then it became to what EV, OLV, what evolve. And what evolve all top, and sift, SIFT, the sift. And that would be all the big, what all evolve, all top sift. When you sift something out, all the small falls through the cracks. You're sifting out the large. And the top sift of L, of showing, SHOWN, of showing. The big of showing, all top sift of showing. Or listen, to listener, of shown. It's the same word. Of shown to debit, to debitum is the way it was first written, DBTOM. And then as he come back and added this, then it was to debit mom, MOM. And then the guy that added these little marks up top that tell you to come back and read those two letters again, that was Apep, APAP, was Apep. That was the big serpent that Ra fought every night. It was Apep attack, ATK, and then Attackomatic, the one that's going to get you every night, it, the Apep Attackomatic. And you kill him every night, but every night, was Apep Attackomatic from Survive. He's there again. And so, of the canon above them, the Reddit coward. Of canon above them, the Reddit a coward. Adoni, adding, ADNI is adding, but ADON, Adoni, the one that's writing above the writings. You high on, by on. And so you can see it changed with the times, and it was high on and by on. Before the dot, it was a BYON, so it was HION and BYON. And later when the dot come, and that's when it changed it to the BY underneath, and then the yon. And Adoni, you high on, by on, some moot, some death. You high on, by on, some death. Was of attack, WSAF. And then with the first set of markings, was shoop at come. And shoop it come, survive, lay outcome. Merces will sire it. An egg of supplant. An egg is a seed, to supplant the seed, the change of the language. What evolve, and before the line it was all sept. And then after, backwards and forwards, it's all top sift. Before everybody just had to accept what you got, but now it's evolved the top sift, the big chunks in the top of your sift. In the top sift of shown to debit mom. Coming from the Latin, something owed your mama. If you got good DNA, you debit mom. You owe your mama that one, because it was her that picked both sides of your DNA. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. But the whole reason I came over here was to look closer at this word merce. And it, right here, reading the top marks, it's just, from where's is, the AE is ES. From where's is, it's in the purse. It's in your merce, from where it is. Or, MOUR, more. More's is. You can fit more's in your big old man purse than you can in your pocket. And then when you read it with the final markings, this is a U, a moo, meaning a little. And the moo, hour, the little hour. And then underneath the as, A underneath, and the E is ES, is. And the moo hour as is, and little hour as is. And so it changed the story. It tells different stories in here by the genius that put the dots underneath. And all 3 stories are in ancient English sailors' language. They sailed and they knew many languages like all your old poets and writers did. So I'm going to backtrack and look at some more places where this merce is. I noticed in the line before this, it's L merce. And see if I can find out what sent me on this path. I'll backtrack and get back to where I was. But I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.